There we go.
We ramped up way
We
too
can't
much
even-
silly energy. Before the show started.
So anyways, Hideo
un-
Kojima has a NWA 105.
Damn,
He's a Swiftie. He's a fellow Swiftie.
He is. And he's an MP3 stan, which yeah.
I have bad news though, guys. It appears that all four of us have been fired by the WWE. I'm sorry.
Oh damn.
Whatever. That's fine.
I didn't even know
I
I
could
had
even
a job.
start, man. I'm
fine.
6'.
Yeah, me and Eric are
6'3".
too old.
Yeah.
Old. Arlen, I don't know. Maybe you're too short, and Hunter sneezed.
Well, no, I think Vince would be disgusted by my normal
Your normal height. Yeah.
eating habits.
Oh God, you're so average.
My not tearing a burrito apart and eating all the individual
your normalcy
pieces,
disgusts me.
I don't know. I was just glad to finally be let go because I was tired of hearing Vince in the background always going, "He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke."
I love that your reference is frozen in a very certain period of time and yet still holds weight to this day because he's still the same crazy fucking asshole.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
somehow worse.
I enjoy that. I enjoy him being almost thrown in a coffin or thrown in a coffin. I'm never really sure.
I mean,
What are
like,
they
name
doing?
it, and something's happened to him. Like, because he's you see that fucking clip like from like a year and a half ago where he was showing someone how to fall off like a railing, so he just tossed himself off of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that
just
shit.
onto it, like
What
a
fucking idiot.
78-year-old man threw himself onto a crash pad.
Trying
from
to
fucking
show Rob
scaffolding.
Fucking Rob Gronkowski how to jump off a railing.
but
A
we're not
70-year-old
lucky enough-
man.
We're not lucky enough that turned his entire skeleton into dust.
You just see like a plume of dust shoot up.
He's like, all right, watch this.
Oh no.
He's just like a bag of flesh, just like laying.
Stephanie, something terrible's happened.
I can't die, but this is the condition I'm in now.
Don't touch my evidence.
Take it with one hand and eat with the other hand.
I like the idea of him being in a robot suit, but because he's so antiquated, it would be steam powered.
Oh God, he wouldn't. You show him a Terminator, he's like, "What the hell is this?"
It's lots of very obvious like steam pipes and various like valves that are
God,
showing
he looks
various
like one of
pressure
those
levels.
one of those fucking Bioshock Infinite enemies that like are the pseudo big daddies, like those big fucking robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just put Vince's head on one of those things.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's now
they're made of
become
wood.
He's now a Bioshock villain. That's what's happened to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
He's a perfect Bioshock villain. What are you
He kinda
talking
is.
about?
He kinda
No,
is.
he's
In a lot
absolutely
of
he's
ways.
the final villain. Yeah, he's the guy who injects himself with like little sister blood or whatever. I can't remember what he does.
He
Yeah,
jacks
that
himself up
game.
with Eden, doesn't he? Or Eve,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
whatever the stuff
he's been
is.
harvesting it from the little girls. I think.
Yeah, the little girls.
He just he's little sisters. He cracks open one of their spines and just slurps it out.
like a lobster.
Sir, there's easy ways to get that. No.
No, you're very small and I'm very large.
Christ. Anyways.
Yeah. Now that we're all jobless, that must like you brought it up like a good point earlier though, Eric. Like, what's the fucking point of even trying to work there at this point? Like, any prospect of your career is like so shaded and like insecurity with Vince being a crazy person.
Well, just every bit I know, basically, that I've absorbed from you and like bits that I see in the news is that it doesn't even carry the legacy it used to. So who gives a fuck anymore?
Yeah,
there's a million other ways to do it, and you'll
There's
actually
literally-
get paid.
There's literally no reason to work for them anymore. They're technically, I was like Dave Meltzer, who was like this like crazy huge wrestling.
He's the wrestling journalist for 40 fucking years. Okay,
Yeah,
Jesus
he was saying technically they're all underpaid. Like,
Yeah, of course they are.
they only make like 8% of the revenue from like the big events. It's pretty crazy.
Well, it's because he runs it like a fucking carnival sideshow.
Yeah.
But what has anybody been watching recently? I'm just curious.
I did a fucking train through Doom Patrol. Holy shit. I'm almost done with the third season. That has been a delightful experience. And like, that's one of the first times in a while where I've watched something and be like, I want to pick this up and read it because this is so fascinating and so fucking weird and so charming. And I love it to death.
Yes, start reading Grant Morrison.
Oh my God. I like the idea of Danny the Street perplexes and fascinates me so much. I love the idea of a gender neutral teleporting sentient street. Like that's the And then Flex Mentallo is also my other favorite like Dark Horse character.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's so, and the actor who plays him is fantastic. That show is just I can't believe it came from the same fucking company who's in charge of all this other fucking bullshit.
Well, I'm terrified by the idea that they somehow were planning to combine the Doom Patrol universe from the little bit I've seen and the Teen Titans universe.
That would have been horrifying.
Yeah, they were one in the beginning, I guess.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lou pointed out that they changed some things, which
I guess it's the only show you could actually say is like, no, there's actually a post-crisis difference where like there's a new actor for Niles Calder and like everybody looks different and since they're both oddly referencing that.
It seems weird to me that they would even let Crisis affect them, being that it seems like CW doesn't give a shit about anything that's happening.
No, they're just like, look, we did it, and it's gonna have effects. And remember Flashpoint? We're like, no. They're like, yeah. I did real quick because it's on the show. I did watch the first episode of the fucking season 8 premiere crossover. Hey, guess what, guys? It's bad.
Oh, you don't say.
We know it's bad.
I am the shock, Connor.
It's bad, but it's bad in like ways where I was like, at least in like Crisis on Earth X, by the point I was at where I was thinking about this, I'm like Nazis invaded a wedding and there was like a 10-minute brawl and it was fun to watch. Here I'm like, I'm watching Iris, whose podcast has now turned into like a media empire, like CNN bullshit kind of thing. I don't know. The whole theme of the episode was them look at the screen going, we've leveled up. And I'm like, you didn't show anybody doing any of this. You just had it happen. The only one I believe it is Barry, because Barry just fucking wipes the floor of the Royal Flush Gang, who are just, man, I thought Shade was bad. This is a new low for bad representation of, some maybe C-D-list villains that people might have a soft spot for.
I saw Seamus is in the show.
Oh God, Destro. So yeah, he does turn to a big pink alien.
Hold on. That's Despero? Is that what you said?
Yes, Despero. I said Destro, didn't I? Yeah, Destro.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Despero.
That's Despero?
Yeah,
yes.
If it was Destro, that would be an entirely different conversation.
I might actually be interested then.
Yeah, it's Despero, and he has a belt that makes him turn into the big pink alien when he wants to have a fight scene or just look scary. And man, he looks like he legit looks like a PS1 like box art kind of render. Like,
oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Like the cover of Tollball #1 or something like that.
God bless the ring.
Yeah, no, that's Airgates. But yeah, and there's lots of Iris, there's lots of Allegra. Who's that? I don't know, but her name's Allegra, and she's there a lot. Cisco's gone, Harrison Wells is gone, and like, there's not enough.
Did they fix the hole in the roof yet?
Fuck no.
Cool.
Did they fix the security problems where like a giant ape can come through?
No, because at the end of the episode, like they literally invite Despero to Star Labs, and he shows up, and then Barry reveals his identity to him.
What?
Cool.
I don't know. It's all about something like, oh, Barry's gonna cause another fucking shenanigans end of the world scenario again for the 4th time in the show's lifetime, and he's like, nah, I won't. And Despero's like, sure you will, and that's basically how it ends.
The show sucks.
Why won't these shows die so we can live in peace?
It was nice to see Brandon Routh again, who's like looked like he was having a legitimately good time, and actually his character arc in the show was like he was trying to be normal, and then suddenly like this dude shows up and he's like, holy shit, I feel alive, and then he puts the on.
I have seen a bunch of clips from like Twitter and TikTok of like clips from The Flash, and it looks like a YouTube, like weird YouTube animated show.
It looks bad. Like it
looks
is
awful.
It looks terrible. Everything's so brightly lit and like just it looks so unconvincing and just fucking.
I saw a clip of I think it was
so cheap.
I think it was Bart Allen and Barry running away from Godspeed.
Oh no.
And it was really funny.
Yeah, Bart looks like AKI Man or THQ Man from one of the fucking N64 wrestling games. He looks like he's wearing a ski suit. And apparently in the Speed Force now lets you make constructs just like Green Lantern rings, like shurikens and swords.
Okay, actually that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that
already with the lightsabers.
On one level, yes, Hunter, I agree. It is cool.
Pretty
on another level, no, thanks. We don't need this.
No, I don't need that. Here's the thing. I don't need that in the Flash TV show. I don't need that in the Flash.
Well, it's further blue balls of like just do a fucking where's the Green Lantern show, and like Diggle keeps showing up and being like, I have this thing I keep avoiding, and it's like, will you just come out and just do the fucking thing already?
Just do it, man.
But no, like to your point, Hunter, like it looks terrible, and like if I think about how season 1 looked, like it's TV show, but it looked good. Like it was lit well, and the effects looked better.
It looked better for sure.
I think the acting was better. I think the writing was light years better. I think just the way everything was done. That season is so pure compared to the rest of this fucking shit that comes after it. Like, and it looks better and better as like these seasons progress. Because I'm like, God, you've abandoned everything about the show that fucking works, and you break your own rules every 10 fucking minutes.
Well, it's maybe because they don't give a shit anymore.
They really don't.
And they haven't in a while.
Yeah, that's what happens when something runs on autopilot for a very long time. It's just the nature of. I mean, it's the nature of television. Why I've been saying for years we need to abandon the 22 episode format because it facilitates that.
Or actually have a showrunner who ends up not being a fucking sex pest.
That's true.
Yeah,
that phrase. Just
I'm glad I've incepted everybody with that term. By the way, I'm glad that.
Well, I heard somebody else use it on a podcast I was listening to, and I'm like, "What? What is happening here?
We're merging
synchronicity." Wow.
Fuck.
I haven't watched much else. I did watch most of Shang-Chi, but I was playing Avengers at the same time, and got really high and was playing as Thor, and Thor was broken in that game, and I was having way too much fun. But that movie is cool as shit, and I had to watch it with a full attention span.
Fucking good.
Yeah, it's instead of trying to do 15 different things at once, just get high and do one thing.
Yeah,
That's
I know,
fun.
and I
start
chose
doing ketamine. What?
If I had started Shang-Chi on the TV, it would have stayed there the whole time. But I started playing Avengers, and then was like, "Oh look, Shang-Chi," and then popped it on.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking good movie.
Aquafina is really fucking good. Those two together have just perfect chemistry.
Yes.
And Tony Leung is awesome.
And I don't hate Eternals. I want to put that out there on the podcast. I don't hate Eternals, but like watching Shang-Chi, I was like, all right, this is clearly the better movie.
I mean, yeah.
Man, as more time goes by, I have no interest in seeing these.
I could sum it up in like 2 minutes, and you'll be ready for the next whatever.
I don't feel anything from them like a cool factor. I don't feel anything from them as like
the coolest.
I need to invest in these characters, and like it just seems like it's all a bunch of shit I like, all split into different like less interesting parts.
All the coolest parts of the movie are at the end credits.
I've heard. I've seen too.
Well, Arlen, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm guessing, Connor, you know about the post-credit scenes.
Yep.
Okay, well, then I'm not going to spoil what it is, but the one character that is kind of a surprise for who they're playing, I've seen in advertisements for the movie at this point, and it was from Marvel.
IGN literally posted it this morning.
Yes.
This is a thing that they've been doing, and here's the thing with the TV shows. I kind of understood why they were doing it for the TV shows.
Yeah,
because people watch TV differently from the way that they watch movies. I don't understand them doing this for the films one bit. Like I remember, like maybe a month out from Black Widow coming out, they posted a post. They did a poster that revealed who Taskmaster was. And that seemed like a bad idea.
Why?
Wow.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's just like I don't understand that choice at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Shang-Chi poster from like 2 weeks after it was released with like the Dweller in Darkness or something. I'm sure it exists, and that would also be a really bad idea for them to have done.
Yeah.
Well, they started this like after Endgame, I feel like, because like what was it, 2 weeks after its release, like the trailers that came on TV were Cap catching Mjolnir. Like,
yeah, and that's the stuff I kind of
Yeah.
expect from TV trailers because that's just how they do it.
Well,
Like
I feel like after opening night on a Marvel movie, the expected amount of hype kind of dips a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, with that movie in particular, they were banking on the idea like most people have seen this. Most of the people who really care about spoilers have seen this.
And honestly, I don't think people are like too excited about Eternals, so I guess maybe that played into the decision to do this.
Maybe, but it seems to go against like the thing they've always done, which is like don't reveal anything about the post credits.
Yeah,
and it seems crazy. I don't know. It seems crazy to have like one of the bigger post credit reveals be in their advertisements for it.
No, and I'm saying like it's weird that they do that, but like apparently the word about this new Spider-Man trailer was that Marvel is the one that's keeping Sony from showing Garfield and Maguire.
Well, I'm actually thankful for that because like it'd be so fucking annoying.
And I'm not surprised by that in the least bit because Sony's been notoriously bad about that kind of thing, and most studios do not have any restraint. You know, I mean, there's the story of Jordan Peele like pleading to not have certain things in Get Out revealed, and him being absolutely right about not letting.
He's right, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, most studios assume no, you just show it. It doesn't matter.
I will never forget. I went to see the U.S. remake of Quarantine, and one of the trailers for Quarantine was Quarantine, and the trailer was the final shot of the movie.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's not shocking.
I was really upset.
Horror movies seem to be
era, though.
And horror movies seem to be something that like there's kind of no real rules about the trailers because sometimes all the best stuff is near the very end of it, so they've got to jam pack the trailer with a whole bunch of shit.
That's fine if it's like different cuts where like my brain might forget about one thing where it's contextualized or whatever, but like the teaser they had for a while was only the final shot. It was Jennifer Carpenter being dragged into the darkness.
Well, I mean, but isn't that the last scene from Wreck as well?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you went in with that knowledge to begin with.
Well, no, I think I saw Quarantine first.
Unless you're a noob.
Yeah, I saw Quarantine first. I worked at the theater, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? It's a remake of something." So yeah, I saw that, and then the trailer before, and like so the teaser was the final shot of her being dragged away, and then I get to that point in the movie, I'm like, "Oh fuck you!" Like,
you know, it happens.
What are you gonna do?
I just feel like I'm with Marvel in particular, like those spoilers, like kind of hurt when I see them. Looking at you, No Way Home. Especially the one that I saw specifically that I was trying to avoid.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that was the leak, right? That was the
leak.
The leak of the character, who I won't say because I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
I will not spoil it. I saw the thing, and I was like, I really wish I didn't see that.
You saw the thing that people who know you would get stupid excited for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say, I've heard that it's happening from so many different sources now that I'm like, if this doesn't happen,
oh no, I'll walk out.
If Garfield is right and he's not in the fucking movie, and Maguire is in the movie, and he's doing his own
kill me
trolling, like,
and this other thing isn't real. I will doubt every story I hear going forward if this other thing isn't real.
I do love all the videos of Andrew Garfield looking more and more distressed as people ask him if he's in the movie.
Because he shows up for other shit entirely. They're like, "Yo, dude, Spider-Man." He's like, "No." Like,
I'll give it to him though. He's good at hiding it if he is in the movie.
Mr. Sunday Movies has like a big No Way Home like movie out where they just have to dissect the trailer, and it has this dramatic opening and just has like the No Way Home text or the homecoming text that says Andrew Garfield is a liar.
Yes.
I do think he handled the whole deep fake thing really well.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't break and be like, maybe that is real footage. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like once, and then like that's why I love the existence of Corridor Crew. They're like, oh really? Like, but also who's to say they weren't also somehow involved in this? Like, there might have been some money exchange. Which, you know what, good for them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't honestly. Eric? I know I was going to say I wouldn't be shocked if the tendrils of Kevin and the MCU would outreach to people who are mid-level success YouTube players and just be like, listen, you need to just keep quiet. Here's some money. Shut up.
It could be. I mean, yeah, I've been really proud of them though. Like they've been doing this. It's not a series yet. It should be a series where they're like breaking down paranormal videos. And
yes, I watched a few of those, and how and like honestly, it helps lessen the blow when I see like a paranormal video where I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, that's bullshit, and like now it's like, oh yeah, it's like all of these are so easily explainable, and but it makes the ones that are harder to explain that much more interesting.
Well, are they going to have chills on in this potential show?
Oh my god!
I wish they did, but like
I wish they would have just roasted them the whole time.
It would help so much with shows like a show that I've caused Hunter to watch, Paranormal Caught on Camera, where like the pundits on that show will see videos that are obviously like CG, like the CG fairy that somebody's like, this is clearly footage of a fairy.
I love that show. It's so entertaining to watch Ben Kissel of all people be like, so what if this is the horns of Jonah and the end of the world is coming? And he clearly does not believe it.
It's so good. He's just like spouting bullshit, and it's like, but there are other people on that show where it's like, no, this person believes every word they're saying. And if you just had one person on that show who, as a pundit, who was a special effects person, who'd be like, no, I could have made that in After Effects in an hour. I could do that right now. Give me a laptop and I will make a fairy.
Yeah.
And I'll make it better, actually. I'll match the lighting.
The way those guys break down like how like frames work and like artifacts and like what happens if something is too close or too far away from the camera, like a lot, like hundreds of videos that like me or anybody has seen, you're like, oh yeah, now like literally all of that makes so much sense. Whereas before it might have been a curiosity.
Rewinding a little bit, so these guys went over the video that was showing that Toby and Garfield were supposedly deep fakes, and we're like, yeah, this isn't fake.
Basically, too much like their own deep fake mask that they had made. Actually, they had actually made their own deep fake masks of, I think, Garfield or something else. Maybe not Garfield. Maybe it was something similar. But they had experience with deep fake videos enough that they were like, that looks like a deep fake. And the lines weren't exactly right. They could tell by the way that the shadows were. And there's a bunch of other details that they go into where it's like, if this is real, it's been processed, it's been edited in some way, so that it may be a real video, but that might not actually be Andrew Garfield. Or it's just fake altogether.
I thought they were saying that, no, this is actually real, and it just looks like it has some sort of artifacting over it or whatever to try and throw people off. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. I don't know.
Well, the thing about that video is he's sitting in that scaffolding, and like now we have so many other details surrounding that scaffolding from that trailer and like from other leaks, and like from that, it's like I don't think you can like convincingly deny that video at this point. Now it's like, no, that looks very much like he's in this fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I just want to wait and see and hope that
I will say like props to whoever is behind like the overall machine as far as the marketing is concerned, like who's making what decisions, because like I think this is the most talked about Spider-Man has ever been. Like,
yep,
yeah,
this is insane.
Yeah, probably.
Like, people are so fucking excited, and honestly, like the prospect of it being exactly what we all think it is isn't any. It's not deflating. And to think that like there could be a Spider-Man movie that would be that fucking ridiculous and massive is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, isn't it supposed to be like 2.5 hours at this point?
Yeah.
I think is what they're. I think is what either.
There's like 80 million people in it.
Yeah, because I think I'd read somewhere that they said it's going to be pretty long in comparison to the other Spider-Man films. I also like that Tom Holland has been out there saying like, yeah, I kind of am done with Spider-Man. Like, I don't want to be like an old man playing him with back problems. Like he's even said like, bring out the Miles Morales film.
No,
I've also liked the comments where he's like, also, I don't think I'm going to be acting. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah, he's way too normal. Like, that's the thing. Every time I see him talk, I'm like, he's not of this fucking world. Like, he's too awkward.
Well, he said like he'd like to be a landlord, but he wants to buy up like apartment buildings and rent them for cheaper than they're worth, just because he doesn't need the money.
Wow,
that's amazing. See, that's why I said he's too normal.
He's a legitimately good dude. Like, it's just not.
Yeah,
like...
it sounds like it.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
That's
a good dude who can't help but spoil things. Who can't.
That's because he's an excitable nerd. He's just there's a crop of people in Hollywood I think are so normal. That's kind of why they're so likable. Like Adam Driver. I'm like, man, you're just way too real. I'm Adam Driver. I was a Marine.
The detail of Adam Driver can't watch anything that he's been in is so. That's so good. I can't. I hate that it's like a terrible thing for him that gives him anxiety, but I love it so much. The fact
he's not like Vin Diesel watching Fast and Furious all day.
All day, every day.
God damn it.
But recently, my wife and I watched a documentary on Hulu called Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And it was produced by the Duplass brothers, so take that for what you will. Arlen, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Duplass
brothers. Why do I know that name?
So I know this documentary for a number of reasons. Mostly that's the area my family is from.
Oh man! Wow. So they're from the what is it? The goddamn it, the green triangle or whatever they call it.
The Emerald Triangle. My
mother, this is the Creep guys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Duplass brothers, and it's a documentary about a journalist who has a story about a Sasquatch. And I will. The best, like the most I can tell you is that when in 1993 he worked at a pot farm out there, and he remembers specifically like a guy coming in and telling the guy who owned the farm that like a Bigfoot killed 3 guys and tore up a bunch of the plants, and it's him trying to discover the truth to the story.
Bigfoot's fucking token up.
Well, it goes some places. It's interesting.
Wait, does he smoke a joint with Bigfoot? Is that what you're saying to me?
I can neither confirm nor deny that happens.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, it was good. But then I don't like. I enjoyed it, but like the turn it takes, I was like, huh, okay, yeah. And my wife, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I didn't have like this weird connection to that area, I don't know if I would have stuck through all 4 episodes. I might have dropped out. The part of me that is interested in cryptids might have been like, this is lame. I'm done with this. But I had like this weird connection to the source material or the subject matter.
But that explains a lot.
Did you smoke a joint with Bigfoot, Arlen?
I cannot confirm.
Lie to me, damn it!
Don't lie to me.
There's something about the idea of like a Sasquatch documentary where I'm like, I don't think I need any more of those.
No, he's real.
I've
seen him.
I mean, that sounds interesting, but like, when you bring up like, I saw a Bigfoot documentary, I'm like, ugh.
I've seen him. He's real.
I'm more interested in the people that are, as a profession, a Bigfoot hunter. Like, they're always the most interesting part.
You bring that up. It's something funny because like when I watch like paranormal shows, there's always something they bring in who's like paranormal demonologist, EVP professional. But I'm like, how are I'm like, these fields cannot be real. Like,
they're not.
Yeah.
No, these are titles.
This is not your profession, sir.
No.
Well, it's like it's this documentary I know me and Hunter love, which is The Man Who Saw UFOs, right?
Oh yes.
Is that Starseed?
Which is
no, that's extraordinary. That's extraordinary.
This is a different one.
This is
about
one.
A man
it's a man who is cursed to see UFOs, who comes his pants every time he sees UFO.
Yes,
what?
And among other things.
What?
Yeah,
It's this man who he's very clearly like a very old, kind of sad man.
He's what you might call an eccentric.
Yes. And he spends most of his life hunting and seeing UFOs, and he sees them.
Well, it's the only way he can finish.
Yes, never-ending quest for ecstasy.
And like
my life is just heating them.
It's a weird, like little, like a test tube, like of like this person and his like weird eccentricity and mental illness, and like it's more interesting because of him and how he reacts to UFO stuff and how he's internalized his desire to find UFOs. That's the interesting part of it.
Yeah, that's him. I posted in the chat.
Yes.
So was this film advertised as an erotic true story?
No. He just when he mentions that he comes his pants, like it is so like nonchalant the way he says it that I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Somehow, against all odds, I take a break from one podcast that has a lot of cum talk, and I come to this one, and here we are.
Cotter, just to wage your mind a little bit. It's not just that.
No,
fluid that he talks about.
He literally brings it up
fluid.
like almost towards the end. It's so fucking weird.
Oh, yes, so it's the big reveal at the end of it.
Yeah, it's big reveal.
This is after there's already been a sequence where he has had to ask somebody for pants earlier in the film.
I love this fucking movie. Oh,
it's so good.
It sounds like a giant Knoxville movie.
Like.
It does, but it is fascinating because you're just watching this dude who is so like, I wouldn't call him pathetic, but he's
pathetic.
He's like eccentric to a point where you almost feel sorry for him.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like you're like, oh no. Many times.
This dude's really fucking weird, man. Maybe things aren't so bad.
Right. Maybe my life is actually really good. Maybe
Jesus Christ.
Maybe I've got it great.
Yeah. It's on Tubi if you want to watch it.
Yeah, it was on.
Man, Tubi Netflix really is a fucking wasteland.
It is.
You can find anything on Tubi.
The other thing my wife and I watched tonight was the first episode of that show Hellbound from the guy who did Train to Busan. It had me really hard in the beginning, and then it kind of lost me a bit there, and I want to give it another episode to see if it picks me back up. But there's a part in there that has a guy who's wearing like blacklight makeup and screaming at you for like what seemed like 15 to 20 minutes. I mean, I was stoned, so it might have only been 5.
Bad time.
It might have only been 30 seconds.
This is the bad place.
It was definitely more than 30 seconds, but it just, I don't know. That part of me, I was like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, man.
Sounds like Judi Dench at the end of Cats, just talking.
I don't know. I haven't forced myself to watch that.
So. I have only seen that shit through Lindsay Ellis. I won't sit through that of my own volition.
You couldn't pay me.
Yeah, I won't even associate with people that are showing me video from it because I don't want anything to do with that movie.
Yeah, fair.
It's
Are you afraid of your own body, Eric? Is that what it is? Are you afraid of what you're?
I'm afraid of seeing something without a butthole.
Release the butthole cut.
Release the butthole cut,
please.
I would rather watch the butthole cut than the ire cut. I gotta tell you.
Arlen, I noticed you'd listed off a few different horror movies you'd watched recently on Shudder. like one in particular you said was really good and actually creeped you out, which I definitely want to hear about because I'm shocked that there's actually a horror movie that can give you the heebie-jeebies at all.
Oh.
Yeah, you would watch it on Shudder?
Those no, I didn't watch. So these are movies that I watched a while ago. I got to look them up now, because I don't remember all of them. But no, there were they all recently hit Shudder. Pyewacket
That's it.
is
Pyewacket
one.
was the one.
That movie fucked me up. Um,
Really?
That I don't know what it is. There's something about that movie that really fucked me up. It's also that's a movie that leans heavily into that doppelganger subject.
Nope,
Okay.
don't
Your
like that.
favorite thing.
Yeah. And yeah, no, that movie really screwed. I gotta find the other movies now because all three of those movies hit Shudder. A Dark Song is one of the creepiest movies I've ever fucking seen. I'm remembering the titles now as I'm trying to look for them.
that dark song.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dark Song. Yeah, that one was great. I really
Yeah,
like
man.
that. It was odd,
yeah.
but it was good.
I love that, and it's equal parts scary and also funny. Like when she's like, "You aren't really my friend, are you?" No, we're fucking not, bitch, or whatever he says. He says something
Yeah.
like, "Of course we're fucking not." And it's, but then it goes into like these weird places, and it's like a very, I mean, I'm not gonna a realistic approach to like magic. Like
Yeah.
it uses real sigil magic.
Yep.
And like summoning guardian angels and stuff like that, or guardian spirits, and like how that is supposed to actually work. And it uses all of the lore from real life and like treats it seriously and uses it to make a really effective creepy movie. It's
Yeah.
really great. One of the I think it's a team actually, directing team. They did 2 episodes of Bly Manor, because Mike Flanagan saw Dark Song and he was like, "I'm hiring those people. I'm fucking getting those people on my show." So that one's really good. But Pyewacket is like a show about it starts off in kind of that sort of like Slender Man direction, kind of very similar like setup, similar to the Empty Man. And there's this setup with like this sort of paranormal creature that has it will give you things if you give it things. Basically, if you like give it a drop of blood, it will do things for you. If
I've got this UFO enthusiast cum sodden pants.
I mean, it might give you something. You never know.
A look of disgust and disappointment is all it'll give you.
It won't even kill you. It'll just be like, you suffered enough. But no, and then it becomes like this girl makes this deal, it gets involved with it, and it just goes wrong. Things just go really bad.
Okay,
and
that sounds about right.
It plays with the doppelganger stuff. It plays with like, do you actually remember things as they actually happened? Did that moment actually occur? Yeah, and it goes in some really creepy, really weird places that I rather enjoyed. So watch both of those movies because I think they hit Shudder literally the other day.
Well, that's the thing. The one about summoning and all that. Not Pyewacket, but the other one. Like that had been on that had been on Netflix for the longest time because that's how I saw it. Was on Netflix. Like this was
same thing, yeah.
Quite a few years ago. So I wonder if I've seen Pyewacket and just don't remember it at this point.
Pyewacket's been on Hulu for a long time, like a very long time, and it's been. If somebody was to ask me for like horror suggestions on Hulu, it would be the first one that I would bring up. 'Cause, yeah, it's memorable.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, check that out if you have that, and then we all know The Hallow.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, The Hallow's dope.
I love that fucking movie.
I'm really sad that director had to make The Nun afterwards.
Oh my god,
why?
he did?
Why did that happen?
Oh.
Yeah. And there are moments in The Nun where it's like, oh, that was him. It's like that moment was cool. That was clearly
Oh,
that was clearly the director coming through.
You watched a movie made by a guy who made 2 horror movies that I fucking love to death, and that's Dead Snow and Dead Snow 2. You watched Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter like 2 weeks ago, something like that.
So, I mean, but it's
kind of rules. Not gonna lie.
Fucking, I love that fucking movie.
So dumb. It's dumb. I love it.
No, that movie's fucking great. I don't. Hansel has diabetes. It's fucking
yes.
I just love the big fucking all the practical effects and like the big dumb monster that like hangs out with them. It's in these like weird looking sets and like the visual effects are awesome. Yeah, it's a silly little genre movie.
Yeah. It was, yeah, I mean,
and Dead Snow and Dead Snow 2. Okay, Dead Snow 2 is one of the most like uproarious zombie movies I've ever fucking seen. It's so fucking fun. They do a what the fuck is that stunt where it's called like a you go up through a ceiling and then back down through a ceiling. It's called like a something cowboy or something like that. It's an old western stunt.
Texas Switch?
Yes, a Texas Switch. They do an amazing Texas Switch stunt at the end of that because basically like this dude wakes up having a zombie hand stitched to him, but it's like the zombie hand of a Nazi zombie with superpowers who can resurrect the dead.
Sure.
So he can also resurrect the dead. So he resurrects an army of communists to go fight an army of Nazis in this like small Swedish town.
I guess the logic of that makes sense.
It's so fucking fun. Like it's carnage for like 40 minutes. Like it's so good.
Hunter,
and it's set up in a fist fight. It's so fucking fun.
Hunter, have you been watching anything recently, or are you just still glued?
I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. That show is so fun.
There we go. It is the absolute best show on TV.
It's the funniest show on television.
Like I don't understand how they're this consistently good.
I've watched the Jackie Daytona episode over and over again, like once a week.
Behind.
So good. I was like looking up stuff about Jackie Daytona because I was like, this is just really funny. I need to know more how they came up with this. And like, apparently, their reasoning for him not returning for season 3 is that they couldn't afford the costume.
What?
It's just him in a toothpick and jeans. We couldn't afford the props.
I love that so much.
It's really good. I love that.
So
show.
you're on season 3 at this point?
Yes, I just started season 3. I'm gonna probably watch the rest of it this weekend. It
has some fucking phenomenal episodes on there.
And I've heard Colin Robinson get some time to shine in this season.
Yes, he does. This season is very much a Colin Robinson heavy one. It's great. It's so good.
He's my favorite character of that fucking show.
So good.
I'm shocked that like a show that as far as I know, like Jermaine and Taki don't really have that much to do with on a day in day out basis.
Besides their cameo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't believe that Americans actually got it right.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make sense.
I can't believe it not only just it carries the tone, but like extends the tone of the movie just flawlessly. Like it just keeps running with this baton, like just without tripping.
It's really impressive. A lot of it is I think Matt Berry and Nadja. I cannot pronounce their name.
Matt Berry is a fucking treasure.
Like they both just carry like they have the same sense of humor as the movie does.
Well, I after I saw him in Moving the Shadows, like I discovered what the fuck is the name of it? The British
Snuffbox?
No, the British horror show.
Darth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Darth Marenghi's Dark Place.
So good.
Yeah, like I started watching some of that because like it's all on YouTube somewhere, and I was like, this is all, like all these actors are so fucking good.
Yeah, God, Dark Place is so good. Dark Place so much.
Matt Berry is a fucking.
You also saw Train to Busan, and
I did
after we begged you and pleaded you.
I watched actually. We could talk about this because I did watch a bunch of horror movies over Halloween.
Oh my god, who are you?
Yes,
I watched. Okay, so I watched The Fly, and that was a bit of a mistake. I'm gonna say right now, I do like that movie. I will never watch it again.
No, that's fair.
I watched
that's completely
Fly.
fair.
Me, notably not a fan of horror films.
Hunter, are you saying didn't get hard when Jeff Goldblum melts that man's arm.
Oh, it's so gross.
Oh, you mean he breaks it off at the forearm.
He does, and it's fucking disgusting.
But he also melts it. He also spits on it and melts it.
He the digestive enzyme is so fucking ugh.
God, I forgot about that. I haven't seen it forever.
When he's like a disgusting mold thing at the end, I like that movie. I think it's good. Jeff Goldblum's great and everything. Never.
That's the thing. That's the least
it is
horrific Cronenberg film, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty tame.
Yeah,
it is. Well, I would say its highs are very high.
Yeah, yes. No,
they're very far and few in between.
Where it doesn't
go as weird.
That's why I watched it, because I heard that it wasn't the most body horror one there. But then I watched it and I was like, this is disgusting.
I mean, it can't not be because it's Cronenberg, but it's probably the least visually offensive one that he's done.
Yeah. It's the least pure shock, I guess. I think that's the best way I can.
Videodrome is James Woods gonna put a tape into his chest vagina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a hand is gonna come out of a TV, and the skin is gonna look very penisy in an uncomfortable way.
I also watched all the Evil Dead movies too. I saw the remake on my 18th birthday. In the middle of a blizzard in a fucking theater in New Hampshire with two of my dumbass friends.
I mean, that's the best way to watch that movie, probably. That's probably
It was really good. And I was like, I've never really seen the others. So I watched all of them. And they're actually
that's a journey.
Honestly, I really love
so you've never
movies.
seen Army of Darkness either? Or
my only exposure to Army of Darkness is my brother had a poster in his room of Army of Darkness.
It's the same one that it's him standing on a rock with the fucking
Yes, it is.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Dark background, purple shirt. Yep.
Yeah.
Even people that haven't seen that movie know that poster.
And I really like those movies. They're all really well done.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and since you just saw them so recently back to back, to see how much of the first one was trying to be a pure horror movie.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just
they abandoned that immediately.
Right.
I saw two first, then I saw one and was so fucking confused as to why I was seeing a long form version of the Linda plot. I was just so thrown.
I think it's more common for people to have seen 2 first, or to have seen 2 and 3 first, and then seeing 1. I feel like that's the most common way of seeing it, because 2 or the first one. I mean, it wasn't I don't think it was the scale of Halloween in terms of its success as an indie movie. It grew over time.
No.
Yeah.
Those movies are really good. So Train to Busan.
How far into Ash vs. Evil Dead did you get? Because I want to know if you got to the "I'm in the butt" scene.
Oh, I didn't get that far. I was at the end
of
the second
my god!
That's the next thing you need to do, Hunter. Tell me if you need a Stars login, because I got you covered.
I will watch that.
That show went to a place I've never seen. I think a horror movie or TV show ever go in one particular.
I have seen a clip that is, I think it's a head attached to a colon or something.
Okay, that's the "I'm in the butt" scene.
Okay, yeah, I do want to watch this show because
a corpse drags him by his intestines into its ass cheek, and then he's like, "Oh no, I'm in the butt!"
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
that show went for it.
I love that show.
There were times where I was like, "This is television. Somebody made this. Somebody said yes to this." But I appreciate that it exists. Anyway, Train to Busan. You were trying to say?
Train to Busan's awesome. That movie,
it is
fucking rules. I can't wait to see the a train through New York, whatever it's called now.
The Last Train to New York. Train to
New York.
Woo.
Title.
That's at least a good direction to go, I guess.
I'm glad they're not just straight up
remaking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like any other setting would not make any sense because there's nowhere in this country where trains are as integral as they are in Korea. Like
if it was in Boston, it would be a little.
You can live in Jersey or New York because I've taken trains from Jersey to New York and like
right,
sometimes
like
that
it's
is
a
like the
very
best way to travel.
It's a very specific section of the East Coast, as far as I can tell, where it's like if you want to get it somewhere by train, it's just as practical as driving or by plane. The further west you go, the less practical and sensical it is
until you get to California.
At that point, if you're on a train, you're planning on a long trip. Like
yeah, exactly.
It's got Gilgamesh in it, punching zombies.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
I have never been more hyped for a like people versus zombie scene than I was throughout that entire sequence. Like I was cheering my ass off. I was like, "Oh, they're just gonna fight! Yeah, they're gonna fight him! Yes, fight him!"
I was a little disappointed the zombie was not driving the train. I really wanted that to happen, and it didn't happen.
Yes.
No, but like every big turn in that movie felt so visceral. And, every gut punch lands so well. Like when the first class car, like the rich people, like lock the fucking door and seal off the other car from the people trying to escape. I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, I need to see the movie again because it's been a while. Actually, that's a movie where I need to re-up it every couple of years. But yeah, it's
it triggered
my
like
memories of it are so good.
I don't like concerned Midwest mom in me for some reason where I was like every time someone's in danger, I would like gasp and be like, "Oh no, you didn't."
No, that's the thing. Like it does. It like effortlessly makes you instantly become infatuated and like kind of just like you have a real strong investment in this core character, this like core group of characters
that
like almost immediately.
Teenagers.
Yeah, like the teenagers, like the yeah, the baseball kids, the best husband in the world and his pregnant wife, and the main character's kid. Like it's all just like these are regular ass people, and they just come off as so fucking cool. Like there's I love my wife so much, I will punch the undead.
There's so many like. There was one day where I opened Shudder, and those who use Shudder frequently know it has that autoplay TV function. And I didn't get on it fast enough, and it autoplayed the sequence where somebody gets off the train, and they like are exploring that station in.
That's where shit really hits the fan.
Yes, and they run into that like whole wave of them, and it's just so anxiety filled. They're like trying to close the gates behind them,
and I couldn't not think of World War Z when I like finished that movie. It was like, I can't believe that movie with like the budget it had, like just it was such an unconvincing brown blob of nothing when they show those big wide shots of zombies. I'm like, I don't care about this. There's no density or visual weight to these things. They're nothing. And then in this, I'm like, they're compressing the doors, like they're pushing themselves through glass. I'm like, I can see this, I can hear it. It's tangible. It's terrifying. I hate it.
Yeah, there's a feeling of like of groundedness to that movie. Like there are moments in World War Z that I always have said, okay, well that's a cool idea
that's a silly ass movie.
It is.
I like that movie.
It's fine. But it's fine.
I don't begrudge anybody for liking that movie, but like
I kind of laughed when the solution to the zombie problem is inject yourself with a bunch of fucking viruses. Because like it's like give yourself AIDS to not die from the zombie.
Yes.
Well, and that is like that is a thing, I guess. Like you inject yourself with like, is it polio or smallpox to get rid of like herpes or something like that?
I don't know anything about that.
It's so weird. It's just the idea of him just taking a bunch of syringes and be like, "Well, I guess this is it."
That is the part where I'm like, well, it's like I told you guys the other day I was watching Contagion because months after everybody else on Earth had rewatched it.
Yeah.
And the moment where the woman working on the vaccine injects herself, and immediately goes to see her father who's in the hospital with the virus in that movie, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not how vaccines work. It takes 2 weeks for the vaccine to work. What are you doing?
What a wonderful what's like done.
Yeah, well, you know, it's
the
when
CSI universe.
it was when the idea of a disease like that was fictional.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which
I want to die.
My wife and I watched that movie like in the very beginning of like 2020
I'm
or
good.
no, was it 2019 was when we first started getting hit with stuff.
I think
It was
2019.
It was
Yeah,
February
okay.
In
2020
November of 2019.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
as
'cause
a yeah.
whenever things had started to ramp up a little bit, but not to the point where it's like, oh god, we're just like, oh yeah, there's all this shit going on. Let's watch this movie, and it's like, huh, that's interesting. And then like
Good way to
a
put yourself
month
in an awful
later,
headspace.
yeah, and then a month later, it's like, oh fuck, when are they going to start? So when's somebody going to start selling us what was it? The stuff that Jude Law was taking.
Oh god.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
The fake here that he makes himself look all feverish.
Yeah,
I'm glad he goes
what a
away
great
for
movie.
SEC fraud.
well, he doesn't though. He doesn't though. Remember, at the end, he gets out because of
ivermectin, real patriot.
I was gonna say, when's the part where Dustin Hoffman firebombs us?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
What was the name of that movie? What's the one with the one with Dustin Hoffman and who else in that fucking movie? Outbreak. There we go. Because that's Ebola, right?
We watched that in school. That was a
so did I.
Choice. What a choice.
So did I actually. I'm just now remembering this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, if I remember correctly, based on a book called The Hot Zone. Which is great.
Zone.
That sounds like a porno.
The Hot Zone? Yeah, the Hot Zone's been an Ebola outbreak.
Yeah. My dad sent that to me actually when I was in like my early 20s. He's like, "Oh, you should check this out." I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh God, what's wrong?"
The first 100 pages are a man bleeding out in an airplane. Like,
yep, that's great. It's great. Yeah, it's a really good book. It's horrific.
It's about a guy just
really
dissolving as he's trying to take a business trip or something. Like the first
it's not fiction. That's the thing. Like it's about Ebola and how it spread initially. Yeah, it's really good. You should read it, Hunter. I'm sure you'd love it.
I can't read.
Okay, you're good.
Okay,
don't worry about
it. He can't see the books. He can't bring it too close to his face.
Yeah, there'll be a movie someday.
They're too tiny. They're too tiny.
Books too small.
Right. Yeah.
No book made for Hunter yet.
Too slowly, because he's so big and he has to.
I just sounded out.
So recently, since the gods of Microsoft have decided to be kind to us Xbox owners, and they brought out a whole bunch of backwards compatible stuff. I picked up Max Payne 3. And oh my god, that game still looks amazing.
That is probably my favorite action game ever. Like if I had to pick like a solo action game, like that is just it's so fucking good.
It's really good. I forgot how good it is.
I have the PC version, and like that game, it looks like it could have been made like 2 years ago. Honestly,
Yeah,
also just like its narrative structure is like fascinating, and like it's a grim fucking story.
The shooting is fucking brutal in that game because like
yes, it is.
And like
explode.
Yeah,
I forgot about the thing like when you kill the last guy in an arena, whatever you want to call it. Like hold down the A button and keep firing if you want to slow down time. Like holy Jesus Christ!
You want to feel it with the guns
firing. Yep. And like I can't believe how much different it is from Max Payne 1 and 2, and it still managed to be like just a fucking home run. Because Max Payne 1 is like amazing. Max Payne 2 is great, but it's not quite as good. And like they're detective noirs with like horror elements and like fourth wall breaking shit and like weird stuff and like hallucinations of ghosts and demons and stuff like that. Not as bad as the fucking movie, but it's there. And then this is like it's Man on Fire. It's just Man on Fire, and that for some reason works so fucking well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get the impression they're trying to explain why the time slow works for Max is because he's on so many pills and so drunk all the time.
He is blasted out of his mind 24/7.
Yeah, man.
And that game also illuminates like what a sad sack he was, and like really kind of scrubs the hero off of like what you might see coming out of the first two games. Like it's he's like, yeah, I killed a lot of people, but like I didn't feel good about it. Lots of people, like the 2 women I loved both died. My kid died. My partner died. Like I think his boss dies. Like his life sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, shit happens, man.
We've all been there.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and it has a like the story's great, the action's great. I think the voice acting is fucking tremendous. I love his partner. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't. Yeah.
He's fantastic. Although at some point, I don't know if you remember, like at some point he's like, "All right, my plot's done. Bye."
Yep. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, and then you're fighting all of the cops in Brazil. It's
great. Yeah, you're fighting all the law enforcement in Brazil.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and Arlen is suspiciously quiet because he doesn't know anything about Max Payne 3, which he should.
It's a game that I have also thrown in his face so much, and something that he's had an interest in.
Or Arlen is an undercover Brazilian cop. That's the other option.
That could be it.
They're all going to jail.
That could be it. He's
horrified. Propaganda.
He's horrified.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
You ain't taking me.
I don't know, Hunter, have you been playing anything interesting other than Forza all the time?
Yeah, I play a lot of Forza. Guardians was great. I love that game.
Guardians was so good. Are either of you going to play it anytime soon?
I'm going to. I don't want to know anything about it because you two
have
so much cool
Good. Don't
probably
learn
not
anything
soon, but I don't care about.
Well, but Connor doesn't want to know about it, so unfortunately,
YouTube already ruined a couple big fucking things for me.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Connor. Well, what we've brought up is like nothing.
Yeah, I know. No, like what I saw was like, oh, this is a thing that you're doing in context to other things.
Yeah.
That's too vague for me.
That is. I can guarantee you, just by that description, you've heard literally nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, there are some turns in that game that I was not expecting.
Also, every time I see that game, like a video, I'm like, this looks fucking incredible.
Yeah. It looks Connor, wait, hold on. It looks like a PS2 game. Let's be real. All right. It looks like
hair bad. Hair on Star
hair fuckboy hair bad.
Hair bad, game bad. We look on box back.
Remind me, clarify this for me. Can women do things in the game? Is that
well? They're aliens.
Does Gamora is a lady?
Well, they're not humans, so they're allowed to.
Wow. Okay, so is that so that's a cheat out of the normal rule of women being able to do things. Okay.
Yeah, that's why the Star Wars sequels are able to exist.
Does Gamora use the Force in space?
Yes,
does Gamora make the baby?
The
rumor come out.
Does the rumor come out?
Is Gamora pregnant? How would she turn into Morph Ball?
Does Gamora is hero?
Why can't Metroid crawl?
No, Guardians is shockingly good, and it's a really good combination of both the comic and the movie universes kind of combined.
I will take it a step further. I think this is the best version of the Guardian of the Galaxy.
It is.
I think
it is.
This game kind of makes me look at the MCU version like, you really just made them a bunch of idiots, huh?
Yeah.
That works for what they were doing.
For that.
For what James Gunn does. Yeah.
After reading a bunch of Guardians comics after I finished the game, I was like, wow.
Look at Thor. Like Thor for the movies had to be turned into kind of a goof for like Thor to start working. But like in the comics and like even the game, like it's not like he's naive to human shit, and sometimes it makes him look oafish, but like he's not stupid.
No,
but I wouldn't say MCU Thor is stupid either. He's just like he's foolish and he's kind of
he's meatheaded, prideful.
Yeah, he's a meathead.
I think the delicate balance that they've tread I think they've actually done a very good job of this is the deeper you go into like the Viking honor stuff and like the Shakespearean aspects, the harder it is to actually sell that, even if you're doing a very good job.
There's no way like they could have made Thor like comic Thor in the movie.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah, like
No.
the fact that those first two movies are as arch as they are is kind of amazing that
Like,
they actually
Dutch
made
angles?
them.
You like
Oh,
Dutch angles,
goddamn you.
guys?
Beat me to it. Beat me to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Kenneth
like
Branagh made the first fucking movie, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
Which
yeah.
is
yeah. And he's really trying to bring in like that Shakespeare energy to it. And it works.
trying, all right.
And then
Yeah.
you have Odin's banishment of Thor, which is a scene that happens.
fucking terrifying. What are you talking about?
I love it so fucking much, but it's so
Well, I think
scares the lines out of Tom Hiddleston.
I think Branagh was trying to bring in like the god aspect of these guys being
Yes.
gods.
Yeah.
In the
he-
traditional sense, like you've said, Shakespearean sense of them being gods.
Right. It's very like it feels very old, like theater.
Mhm.
Yeah, very much so. It feels like it's part of that tradition. And he does a good job. But like what I love about Taika's movie is like it makes it just a movie like any other movie, but it keeps enough of those elements and it pays enough of those elements respect to still feel like it's part of the same lineage. Like
Ragnarok is
yeah.
Ragnarok's important to remind you, like they're Vikings in space.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
But they
it
tell
uses
jokes,
both
so the movie's
parts.
bad.
movies,
Mhm.
movie
It's
bad,
like-
joke funny.
Exactly.
Right, jokes are who likes jokes? Jokes are the worst.
I want all my superhero movies to be dark and grim.
Well, it's not just
the Dark
superhero
Knight
movies, Connor.
trilogy.
Movies about people who hunt ghosts can't be funny either. They have
No,
to
they
be very serious. They
No.
can't have jokes in them, and they can't have
Also
women
resurrect
making jokes. Clearly,
They shouldn't resurrect dead people.
yeah, they shouldn't.
I played.
Why the hell would they do that?
Who knows?
Do we want? Do we want to talk about that on air? Because we can talk about it on air if we want to.
Not yet. I don't want to get in that rabbit
Let's
hole
wait.
yet.
Let's
I want to
wait.
see the movie
Let's wait.
first.
Me too.
I
I'll see
finished.
it when
I finished Arkham Origins for the first time since it was readily available in the 360, and then I've been playing the fucking DLC. Holy shit! I thought that was like a couple of missions. It's a fucking expansion pack. Like it's a smaller map with like basically freeze sections off part of the city, and you have a smaller sandbox version. But like you get a new suit, you get new abilities, you get new like objectives, and like it's a full-on little like a smaller Arkham experience that's all Mr. Freeze themed, and it's fucking fantastic. It's so good. And you fight through Wayne Manor as Bruce Wayne with no suit for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's great. A full Predator sequence. It's so fun.
And this is Arkham Origins?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's DLC called Cold Heart, and it's Freeze basically invades Wayne Manor with Penguin to abduct some like bureaucrat or some philanthropist or something like that. I think it's a philanthropist. And I think it's tied to the Wayne Tech like cryogenic research, and like it's the first time that Freeze has really kind of done something this brazen, I guess. And it's the first time that Bruce has had to deal with like the cryogenic shit. You know, in the Arkhamverse, whatever.
Yeah, that does sound. I mean, I loved Arkham Origins.
I think that game is so fucking fun.
It's
good. Also, Bane still fucking scary. Oh my god!
I'm not shocked.
He like the cutscene where he blows up and turns into like Titan Bane and just screams in Bruce's face and pukes up green shit. I'm like, that is genuinely horrifying.
I want to go back to those games, but I don't have the patience. I don't.
They are something resonates in the Arkham games like in the same way the Mad Max game does. Like those games, I can play them anytime.
Oh yeah,
and I'm having
honestly,
a good
me too.
Time. I don't know what it is.
I play Arkham Knight, like replay it a lot.
I play Arkham Knight all the fucking time, and now I found this YouTube channel called Dumb Frog, and he's like he plays on nightmare difficulty all the fucking time and does these ridiculous like trick combat stuff like all the time. So he posts that, and he's kind of got like he put the bug in my head to start playing again. And yeah, like I play the shit out of Arkham Origins. And every now and then I go back to City. Asylum's the one I go back to the least because I'm like I feel so stripped down. I can't do anything.
Well, Asylum is like I still love my memories and experiences with Asylum. I still think that they did some of my favorite playtime I've ever had. Like the stuff in fucking
yeah.
Croc's little underworld that he has. It's some of the scariest gameplay of all time. Those games are scary. I would love Rocksteady to do just like a horror game.
Well, if they get bought, they just might.
Yep.
They might. I mean, and I'm not against it. I have no problem with them doing it.
Night has some really scary shit in it.
All of them have these moments where it's like, that is fucking terrifying.
The sequence in Asylum where you go to the morgue after Scarecrow gasses you the second time.
Yeah,
and
the one
you
where
unzip
it glitches and
the one where you unzip the body bags and your his parents pop out and like it's a fucking jump scare both times. Yeah, all the scare stuff is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's just they really knew how to like lean into that. I mean, that's the thing about those games. They use every aspect of Batman, which I think that's why they hold such a special place for me, where it's like you get everything. You get the detective stuff, you get the scary stuff, you even get some of the goofier stuff.
Yeah, and a full thumbs up and a middle finger to Arkham Knight on 2 occasions because the Man-Bat jump scare frightened me so intensely.
I thought we were gonna go into the fucking
No. That's great. Like I don't really have many problems with Batmobile. Like they're minuscule. Like first time you hit a fucking ledge and Man-Bat jumps in your face, shrieks at you, and flies off. Like dropped a controller, caught my breath, and then the Joker does it like I don't know how many hours later, and I was like, this fucking game.
The Joker one I respect a lot, though. I respect that one so much because it's like I was not expecting that in the least, but it's so effective.
I've grown to admire Hamill's performance in that game, and I've come to really respect how they use Joker because like the effort put in to make him show up in places you probably haven't seen the first 100 times you play it, and then suddenly 101 there he is incredible. Like there's stuff I'm seeing for the first time to this day. I'm like, I can't believe how much of him is in this game world, and how they implemented him.
Yeah, and to that point, like I feel like having a character be dead and a vision in somebody's head, to me, that's a cheat. I'm not saying it hasn't been good in things that I've liked, but it's a cheat. It's like we killed this person off too early and we realized it after the fact, so we still want more of them. We still want to use that actor or that performer.
13 Reasons Why.
Yes. Yes, very much so. And there are a million others. Yeah. But in this case it's like, no, this was perfect. This was exactly right. And I understand why they do it. I understand why you close it out and you have to have Hamill back as the ghost version of him. He gives such a creepy performance. And it also makes sense in the context of like Troy had just done his version of the Joker, and like I don't know if this plays a part, but I'm sure there's an aspect of pride on Hamill's part about like the way that people reacted to Baker's performance with all this love of like, no, I'm the Joker.
I'm the Joker, and if the series is going to end, it's going to end with me.
I'm the Joker.
I think some of that was also Rocksteady being like, all right, that was cute. Now let's do a real Batman game, please. Like, and I'm not trying to say Origins is bad in any way, but I'm just saying like it's missing that Rocksteady.
Here's the thing: you can tell it's somebody trying to do what Rocksteady does really well, and like there's things about it where like, look at that. You guys see that fucking picture I sent in the chat the other day where Bruce Wayne looks like a Pixar character? Like their models are funny looking. Everybody's got these long ass arms and these big chins and these long Toy Story bodies. Like,
yeah. It's the like the minor aesthetic differences that are really peculiar in hindsight. Yeah, it's just like
and like I notice it when in the combat the most, because in Asylum, City, and Night, when you knock somebody out, it's a gunshot. It's specifically a gunshot. And then in Arkham Origins, it's like it sounds like you're like snapping popcorn or something like that. It's like it's really weak sounding.
Yeah, I haven't played Origins in a very long time.
I will say this: the shock gloves are still the most broken thing I've ever seen. The shock gloves will trivialize any fucking fight in that game instantly. And then in Cold Heart, you got heat gloves. I'm like, you made it worse.
I would love like a. I'm sure they've done some like a collection at some point, but I would love like an abridged collection actually, where you don't have to play through the entirety of all 4 games. But like almost like a best of. I mean, having the option to play through all the levels there would be cool, but like again, as I mentioned, just replaying the Croc level from Asylum and a couple other interesting levels, maybe the Solomon Grundy challenge, because I don't need to fight fucking 15 Titan guys and do that same fucking mission where you're fucking tricking them into hitting it against the walls. I don't need to do that again and again and again. Thank you. I can skip that.
Titan boss fights get like, you're like, oh, Joker's just a Titan boss fight. Oh god, like.
It's like, oh, this is virtually the same as the other Titan boss fights. I think that's what makes the later games so fun and inventive. Like, you would think that the freeze fight would just be a version of something that you've already done, but they managed to make it feel different and to make it feel scary. And to really give you this sense of like desperation when you're fighting him that is completely different from anything else in those games.
Well, and then they took that and they applied it to the Bane fight. Well, not they, because it's a different team, but like in the same series, like a later game, implement that in the Bane fight, and the Bane fight is terror incarnate. I hate that fight because you're just hiding in vents and fucking floor grates and just hoping he doesn't fucking see you. And then you start destroying everything around you.
I own Arkham Knight. Yeah, just because it was so cheap the one time on Xbox, it was like $10 for the expanded version. So I have every bit of DLC that ever came out for it, along with all the costumes. But yeah, it's one of those things I'll play for like 10 minutes and then be like, all right, I know exactly what's coming, so I'm kind of bored with this.
Ooh,
like,
I
don't know.
I'm like, mission? Fuck that. I'm gonna go grind out levels and max out all these fucking gadgets and just go run around Gotham as a terror. Like,
I don't. Playing through the entire like game, I agree, Eric, would be kind of boring. Like those stories.
Oh, I still do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I would watch the stories on YouTube almost more than I would actually play the whole thing. Like I'm just fine like booting up either version of my saves that I have and like just riding around in the Batmobile and just like running over criminals that like say offensive things. Like they
talking
about
how much of a bitch Bat or Catgirl is, or Catwoman is. Yeah,
she's not even there, and they're calling her all kinds of offensive things. Like,
bitch.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run you over now, you fucking horrible monster, and I feel no shame whatsoever.
There's that channel I was talking about has I've never seen this room, but apparently there's a room full of militia guys in Arkham Knight. One of them has an explosive vest, and they're having a meeting about how to beat Batman, and they're using an overhead projector and like slides, and like it's fantastic. And then like you break in, disable this guy's explosive vest, and just wreck everybody.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love that so much. There are all these little in jokes and bits. I've mentioned this a million times, but like you're just like watching a guard. And he's like talking to another guard, and in casual conversations, like, you hear about this thing that I did down in Houma, Louisiana? There was this green thing in the swamp. It was crazy, and it's just like, it's just like these little details.
There's stuff with like LexCorp on it. There's a Central City like there's a Central City like bulletin board or something like that. There's other nods to villains. Like in Arkham City, you can find where Black Mask was attempting to escape. I think there's like a room in Arkham Asylum that wasn't discovered until like 3 or 4 years after the game came out.
Yeah, the one that told all about what Arkham City was going to be.
Yeah, it was the Arkham City blueprints.
But speaking, rewinding a little bit to what you were saying earlier, Arlen, about driving around and running people over, a game that I was hoping was going to be good for that again, but oh man, I don't know how.
They fucked it up so hard
in this day and age. you can fuck up a PS2 game this bad on arguably the most powerful systems that have ever existed.
Everything I've seen is patent laziness. Like it's egregious apathy.
For those who don't know, the Grand Theft Auto definitive editions are absolute trash.
They're so bad they relisted the original
versions. Like, fuck.
I saw some of the AI upscaling that they were just letting, like, so they were allowing AI upscaling for a lot of this, and like I saw a character model that in the original one was a kid with a bandana on and like some facial hair. The AI upscaling just shaved his face entirely, made him like 5 years old, darkened his skin, and just changed his bandana into hair. It's just actively changing stuff from the original game and making it look worse.
Apparently, whatever they use to just automatically upscale stuff can't figure out letters properly on some of the billboards.
Yeah, so what was it? There was a joke that was ruined because it changed something from like meat to heat.
It wasn't even that. There was something about burritos, like a sign that just said burritos, but it changed it to oh god, what is it? Barachos? Something along those lines. Like it's a shitty mobile version of these games. And Arlen, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Grand Theft Auto remasters, the definitive editions that came out recently, are the worst things that have ever happened to Grand Theft Auto. Like, even worse than the cell phone ports that they put on 360 years ago.
It's fucking bad.
Like, I was so excited to play San Andreas again, and I got to like the third or fourth cutscene, and it sounded like they were talking into tin cans. And I'm like, all right, well, that was a fun experiment, and erased the game from my hard drive. It is no bueno. It is the worst thing they could have done with these. And to claim
we can have Cyberpunk and this in the same fucking year, like
that's different though. Like Cyberpunk was them overpromising and arguably not having the budget that Take-Two / Rockstar does. This is a company that has billions of dollars in theory. They shouldn't have put out something this bad.
Yeah.
Like the company that was doing the upscaling and everything, I can't remember the name of them. They're the same ones that did the cell phone ports. Like their CEO has said he's encouraged by the challenges I think that fans are bringing to the games.
What?
What the fuck does that even mean?
What?
I need
fucking moron.
Yeah, I think it's corporate
how to
say
things, but how to say nothing at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, him and Bobby Kotick have a lot in common.
Oh Christ, that prick. Well, that's the thing. Like, I know there's shareholders that are like demanding he and like two of the most senior members quit, but like the board is still backing him.
Yep. It just the whole situation's fucked.
Yeah. Like I don't understand how Activision's gonna bounce back from this.
I think we should just eat Bobby Kotick. I think that should be our solution. Is we eat Bobby Kotick.
Well, I don't understand how Brad Pitt or Jonah Hill didn't just kill him by sensing his evil when he was in Moneyball.
I don't know. Oh wait, he was in Moneyball.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was.
He was in Moneyball.
Who is he in Moneyball? I forgot.
I don't remember, but I know when I saw him, I'm like, that's that asshole Bobby Kotick.
That's perfect. Of course he's in Moneyball.
Yeah. That was at a point where, like, when I saw him, he was already kind of known as an asshole, but when I saw him, I'm like, this isn't normal for a CEO of a video game company to be in a movie.
Apparently, he asked to be in the movie.
He asked, really?
Yeah, he asked to be in the movie.
Christ.
Fucking Bobby Kotick sucks.
Well, Activision kind of sucks too, but he explains why. Yeah. So yeah, don't anybody who could even get the Grand Theft Auto definitive editions for free, don't. They're a waste of your fucking time and money. They're horrible. Yeah. They're the worst.
Yeah, just keep on playing Red Dead 2, like me. Just
Well, I mean, that's going to be the newest thing you're going to get from them for a while outside of Grand Theft Auto, outside of online stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I'm completely fine with that because, as I've expressed other places, that's all I need from them. I don't need Grand Theft Autos from them. I tried playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm like, nah, I don't need this. Give me Cowboy Simulator 3.0 and 4.0. Just do that.
Unfortunately, I don't think you're ever going to see another Red Dead.
Nope. It's going to be... They're going to make Grand Theft Auto 6 forever.
Yep.
No, I think they're keep on updating 5, honestly. I mean, I'm sure they might be making a 6. I know that's been...
It's leaked a lot. They gotta be making 6. It's gonna kill the franchise.
But I wouldn't be surprised if 6 is not 6 in the way people think it is. I really
you aren't wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, what are the leaks you've seen, Hunter? Because I haven't seen any.
So Grand Theft Auto 6 is supposedly it's a live service game. And it is
I fucking learn. I can't believe it.
It is described as Fortnite-like with an evolving map with seasons. So look for that.
Here's the thing. I understand practically why they would do that.
Yeah, because they love money.
Well, also because 5 has been making them money in that same vein.
See, I don't know if 5 is actually making that much money anymore. I think they're just releasing it because people
continue to buy it.
Because
how many DLCs and weird expansion packs and extra missions and stuff have people been playing though? I feel like Grand Theft Auto 5 online is bigger than Grand Theft Auto 5.
It is.
It is. It is.
It's a much bigger part of the thing.
Literally nobody talks about the story in that game.
No, I mean
they did initially, but
now they don't. No one does.
Trevor.
Yeah, they like Trevor.
Yeah, and this is sort of what I was saying about Red Dead. It's a thing where they practice things that they're going to do in Red Dead in the Grand Theft Auto, and then they do it better in Red Dead.
Yeah,
and then they're never making another game other than Grand Theft Auto going forward now.
I'd be shocked if they make another single player game ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be
also Red Dead Online. They'll treat the same way. They'll just keep updating Red Dead Online until it dies.
Yeah. Well, it's already kind of dying.
Yeah. I can see the company changing a lot. Also, I mean, I'm not an expert like some of you guys are, but I think that the chasing the awards still exists, and I think that would be the thing that saves Red Dead.
Maybe.
If I had to guess.
If maybe I think what will happen is we'll eat Bobby Kotick, and then they'll be afraid, and they'll make Red Dead 3.
I think the biggest thing that hit Rockstar was just the fact that all of their main creative people left.
Yeah, and
there's
less people who can say no.
Yeah. That's the biggest indicator that what you guys are saying is true, I think, also.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You don't have to worry about people saying that we're being pushed into what's it called? We're
games as a service.
Well, no, where everybody is working super hard. Crunch.
Oh, crunch.
You don't have to worry about stories about crunch if the game is constantly updating and you don't have to worry about a release date. If you just never have a solid release date for anything, and it's just a constantly being
sure.
Oh, so you're talking about Steam Early Access then? That's what you just described in a nutshell.
Well, and also that's kind of how Oculus worked for a while, and still kind of works in the background. I mean, there are a lot of games on Oculus that just are there, and you can play them before they're done.
Take-Two and Ubisoft have a lot in common these days, where they are focusing on more towards live games, and I just don't see it working out for anyone really. I feel like they're rushing towards something that that's already saturated. There's
evidence of a strong, thriving live service game right now.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Outside of Fortnite, and I consider Fortnite to be anomalous. I think it's a freaking
maybe. Honestly,
so Hunter, you're saying that people in an industry are chasing something.
Yeah,
that one other company has actually successfully done. But they're chasing.
I mean,
can do it too. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
go ahead, Hunter.
live games are successful, I guess. It's just like it's never in the way that they want it to be.
Well, also the bar for success for a live service keeps getting raised to like impossible standards. So like if it sells like, X million copies versus Y million copies, like they're like, oh, it's a failure. It's like,
well, like I think within the console space, the main successful ones would be Fortnite, like Hunter said, Grand Theft Auto Online. Like as much as I hate to say it, like it is ridiculously successful.
Destiny 2, I would say. Destiny 2 is
Destiny 2 is an anomaly because they had to completely basically restart it to get Destiny 2 to where it's at.
Yeah.
And see, that's another problem.
Honestly, it was our plan originally for Destiny 1 was to have like a 10-year life cycle, and then Microsoft was like, aha, Destiny 2.
Yeah. That's the other problem is like these games come out broken as shit. Everyone gets pissed at them, and they have to fix it. And there's like very minuscule chance you're going to recover. Like it's just not worth. To me, it's just not worth it. I don't understand why they keep it. They're chasing it like a revenue stream that's never going to be there.
No, like PC's games as service work because people who game on PCs tend to play like more games than console gamers do.
Like MMOs, like Final Fantasy 14 is one of the biggest MMOs in the world now. Like it just.
Well, and that's what I feel like a lot of the creators of these games as service games and just online experiences on consoles think they're going to do is be the next WoW or the next Final Fantasy 14, and it's like it's a fundamentally different thing.
WoW can't be the next WoW. They're trying.
Final Fantasy 14 had to die and come back in order to do it.
Yep. Yeah, it seems to be a common occurrence when it comes to live service games.
I just don't. I don't understand what the push is for. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like you have to invest so much into the game for possibly endless revenue, but like you have to like keep the goodwill going, or else it's not gonna.
God, look at Avengers! Jesus fucking Christ!
Yeah, look at the Avengers.
My God! Every time they do something good, they do something stupid.
Oh, but according to Square, that's Crystal Dynamics' fault.
I could not believe how badly they threw that fucking dev team under a bus.
Well,
like that was probably your directive, you scumbuckets.
It's team.
Crystal Dynamics' fault.
This is how they are with the American teams. Like they're just ruthless.
Yeah. Like if it would have been a Japanese team game, then they would have been like, oh well, there are things that we didn't get to finish working on. And
look at FF14, greatest example is like that game came out, people fucking hated it, and like to the point where a board member was writing letters to the dev team telling them, "Hey, this game fucking sucks."
Yep. But then when the second Tomb Raider game didn't sell as well as they wanted it to, it was like, oh well, Crystal Dynamics didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, well, it's Crystal Dynamics. Like, no, you guys are just idiots, and you don't
understand the American game market.
Yeah, like I love Square Enix, love Final Fantasy, love those games. They're fucking idiots. Like everything they do is stupid.
I have to agree with them on one thing. Removing those horrid death animations from Tomb Raider really ruined those games. I wanted to see more of Laura dying horribly.
In horribly extended, almost fetishized death sequences.
Yeah, I needed to see her finally get to be Cannibal Feroxed. Yeah.
Both. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Eric took it as far as you can go. It was Avengers. But I loved how out of nowhere those death sequences were.
Yes.
Like it became goofy and hilarious and how insane they were.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Well, because they result in like a simple fuck up. You're like, oops, missed a jump. Oh, you've been impaled 16 times.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing. I remember playing, like I've played all three of those games, and I think they're progressively not as good. But I feel like they always have like one ridiculous death scene since that first one was filled with them. Like they always try and have something that's over the top in like 2 and 3. What they are, I can't remember because I don't remember much of those games at this point.
They did stuff like Tomb Raider Anniversary, but they were far more tame and far more like implied. But now it's we'll show Lara's fucking her larynx getting ripped out by a fucking wolf.
Yes. Well, I mean, she's a woman and she's trying to be a tomb explorer.
Right.
Lara is a lady.
We can't have that. We can't have Laura Croft doing
The
these
rumor
things.
come out is Laura Croft.
Laura Croft. Yeah. Yeah. Avengers, like, they're like, look, we made some MCU skins, and like that's cool. They look fantastic, but like same time, they do a comic book skin like Cap Wolf or Wolf Cap, and I'm like, man,
He
that
looks like a puppy.
He looks terrible.
He looks like a puppy.
And like they did like AI Tony. I'm like, who the fuck asked for that? Like,
on that note, have we been recording or putting anything out in between or while the Moon Knight trailer is out? I feel like we should talk about that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, let's talk about it.
There's a Moon Knight trailer and a fucking and an Obi-Wan announcement,
and a She-Hulk teaser as well.
Yeah, where she thick.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She thick indeed.
Moon Knight looks terrible because
it looks awful.
He wasn't driving a cab, and he didn't. He
has a British accent. And...
Yeah,
and he didn't ask Dracula for his money.
Yes, fucking stole it from me.
Like here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna
show look bad. Costume not seen.
I'm going to spit some hard truths here. Those people are fucking insane.
Yeah, they are.
They think they're gonna get something that they're not. And this is the MCU. Let's all calm our tits.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, go ahead.
He's wearing the Mr. Knight suit in the fucking teaser trailer. Like, come on, guys.
Yes. Well, my big thing is, against all odds, one, we got a fucking Moon Knight show.
Yeah.
And
what
two, it's starring Oscar Isaac. Like, what the fuck do you people? And it has Ethan Hawke in it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you people want? And it's directed by what's their names? The guys who directed.
Yeah, Moorhead and Benson and a couple other directors who are also impressive. Like,
it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And the showrunner is dope too. Like, there's the fact that this is actually happening is kind of shocking, and I will be spiteful of you until I die, Hunter. I will have spite of you.
You willed this show into existence, and there's no other reality I'll accept.
Yeah,
the only thing that could even this out is if DC came out and said, "We will never do another live action adaptation of Swamp Thing ever again."
I will fucking murder you.
Also, we will never do The Outsiders ever.
Also, the Flash.
I don't even care about The Outsiders. I just thought it was a good idea at the time.
No, what will happen? Like the evil version of this is they bring back Smallville. That's exactly.
Oh no!
It's the monkey paw. And then we're subsequently released from Smallville because we've been a part of it the whole time.
Yeah, we were in Smallville. Exactly. Yeah. I bet if you look in the background, like a Smallville episode, we're in the background.
We just don't know it. Oh God!
With that picture of a naked lady in the original Rescuers.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Blinking, you'll miss it.
But Moon Knight looks fucking dope, honestly.
Yeah, from the little bit we've been able to see,
he's just beating someone to death in a bathroom.
Yes.
It's good. That's what I want.
I'm still hoping that the rumors that Ethan Hawke is playing Dracula are true.
Yeah, me too, because that's a great casting.
Yes, and it would tie in really well to future plans in the MCU with Blade.
Yeah, plans they're seemingly setting up in other movies.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Other movies I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should circle back around to this. So we really only barely touched on Eternals. Hunter kind of talked about it a little bit. I do want to say I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, it's not
I had a
awful.
good time. I didn't regret going to the movies that day. I will say that I was tired. But
well, it is like a 3-hour long movie.
Yes, and I was like, I'm going to get a bunch of movies out today. I'm just going to watch a bunch of them. I'm going to go to the theaters, and I'm not going to have to worry about going to the theaters for 2 weeks. By the time I got out of Eternals, I was like, I need to go home. I need to...
This is too much.
I need to rethink my day.
God.
Yes. It changed my plans for the day. It was a lot to take in. I completely agree with the people who are like, that was too much movie. they could
Yes.
they could have made multiple films out of this.
Yeah.
And I still appreciate some of the decisions that they make. Some of the choices that they went with. I'm really surprised by, and it's the kind of thing that 5 years ago I wouldn't have said Marvel was willing to go some of the places that they go in this.
They fuck in this movie.
Yeah. Well, among other things, yes, and like they do some pretty insane stuff, and I do have to push back against the idea that like I would really like to see some of these characters again. I would like to see them in
I'd like to see
contrast.
Kingo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, even aside from him, like to me, these characters are going to either fade into nothingness, or
Yeah.
they're going to get the same kind of resurgence or
I think-
re-examination that Thor has gotten.
I think what they should do for now is just use them like the Hulk and like don't let them have their own movies. Just like have Fastus appear in like Ironheart or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Be
absolutely.
featured players.
I think that they add an interesting seasoning that is compelling mixed with other seasonings, to use cooking as an example. Like like you just said, like putting Fastos in a movie where he makes sense would be excellent, and putting all of these characters in other characters' stories to add this other dimension, because they bring so much just from their history and who these characters are that can be compelling in other characters' stories. And I completely understand why. I think it was Nate Moore who said it's not necessarily designed to have sequels, because I don't think that they need sequels. I think that
I don't think
you can sprinkle each of these characters into other Marvel movies and tell all the stories you need to tell with them. For the most part.
I feel like that should be what their focus is with this phase going forward. Like, if they have like a breakout hit of a movie, then yeah, work on a sequel. But don't go into any of these like planning on there being like more than one of them, because you're just trying to build up the universe.
Yeah, I could see out of all these, like it's the only one I really see. Like
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi is the only one I could see that continues on. Really,
I can see there being 15 Shang-Chi movies easily.
Yeah,
but he's a character that
movie,
I feel like
a spinoff about his
for.
sister. Hell, I would take a solo Mandarin movie, like a Mandarin movie set in like, the past or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a movie that I think is a little much for people, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it, but it's. I'm not like rushing out to the theaters.
Here's the thing: the movie is about the Eternals. No one's really that excited. Like,
yeah, and the people that are will hate it because it's not true to their comic form of them.
Neil Gaiman's Eternals.
Yeah, or Jack Kirby's or whatever. Yeah. Like, because with Shang-Chi, I was just like, all right, these trailers look awesome, and it looks like a very expensive wuxia film. So I was like, all right, okay, cool. I really had a good time with this. But Eternals, like, I like Chloe Zhao, but I don't know if I want to go see 3 hours of her interpretation of the Marvel Universe.
I don't think I like Chloe. I really like that director. I look at that now and I'm like, wow, that might have been a mistake.
Yeah.
She took to her credit, she tried to do something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time where I feel like Marvel should take chances, though. Like, I don't think they should do things that are safe.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like they've earned enough where it's like, do something fucking crazy. They've earned the right to like have characters be not exactly who you think they are, and to have them take weird, strange turns. Because again, like I think they've earned that charisma and like that right to be like, fuck it. We're gonna do something completely weird and different from everything else you've seen. And they should use that while they can. As soon as they can, because that's not gonna last for long.
Nope.
So yeah.
Well, I've got a crazy idea. Tom Holland basically saying that he doesn't want to do Spider-Man much longer. Now is the time for them to be bold and do a live adaptation of Spider-Man Reign.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
I would have called you crazy, but I think you got something there.
I think I'm gonna quit the podcast.
Just this would be also
The
Marvel's
creator of Schindler's List 2 quits the Phantom Zone.
This would also be an easy way for Marvel to just be like, "Fuck you, Sony. We're gonna burn the land that Spider-Man exists on."
Actually, you know what? I'm on board.
Yeah. I want them to do a scorched earth policy.
They
And
get a script that's back and is like, you better include that radioactive cum, you cowards.
Yeah.
Well, so what they should do is they should do Old Man Logan, but it's just Old Man Hawkeye instead, so you don't have to worry about the new stuff. And then you include Spider-Man Reign into that. You combine both stories.
Oh, okay.
That way you can also burn those bridges with Universal.
Oh, that's true.
So I get Universal to be like, fine, you can have the Hulk back. Okay, whatever. We get it.
Yeah, they do that, and then it's just Spider-Man busting radioactive honks everywhere, and it works out.
The thing is, though, I would believe Sony would be gunning for Spider-Man Reign before Marvel would, because Sony would be like, what a fucking good idea this is. And they just commit to it 100%.
Have you read this comic? It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean that would be the other way for Marvel to be like, we're done with Spider-Man for now, and just be like, you guys go ahead, do your scorched earth policy. We don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, you keep your spider splooge. We're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I know the first Venom was popular, kind of. The second one, not so much. Morbius is still up in the air, but. Like once Spider-Man isn't connected with the MCU, if Tom Holland decides he's done, because he is the reason why these movies have been this successful, I think. I don't see Sony having a whole lot of success with Spider-Man stuff going forward.
I don't think so either. Though I am kind of interested in the Kraven the Hunter movie a little bit.
It's not going to happen.
I'm curious to see what it is, though.
I've heard nothing about it recently.
I also don't think Tom Holland's leaving yet until he fights Tom Hardy. Tom Holland's leaving yet until he fights Tom Hardy. Like that's.
I just think that we're gonna see
hold
that.
On. You mean in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
We're gonna have a boxing match, and
we're gonna watch one man murder another one.
I mean, it's he was a dancer, so he's gonna be live, and Tom Hardy is gonna be.
He has had gay sex because he's an actor.
Exactly. Well, I mean, haven't we all? It's so hard to act straight.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought Tom Holland's contract at this point was basically done after like this.
My understanding is that he is signed on. He is signed on to do a Venom movie after this. That's my understanding. Like there's something in his contract where it's like, we can get you for a Venom, but after that, I think he is out if he wants to.
Okay.
If they don't want to negotiate, but like, I think back to the fact that like before the huge negotiation that occurred, leading up to Civil War, Robert was out.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was out. Like that's just how it was. He was gone. And I think about how that turned out and the fact that ended up going clearly the way that Marvel wanted it to go. Because I can't imagine Infinity War and Endgame working if he left at that point after.
But
he would have left in Infinity War. Like his ending would be probably a version of the story where Thanos does kill him.
The thing is, though, like the difference between that and Sony's Spider-Man is MCU is a well-oiled machine. Yes. And Sony is very much the car that you're just praying starts. Like, and it runs well for a while, cool, and then it breaks down again, and you have to go do whatever bullshit movies to fund these other bullshit movies that you're doing to hold on to the rights.
And I'm really just speaking in terms of just like how actors work and how that contractual thing goes. But I do agree, like it's completely different thing. Sony is a different company, and they clearly have their own way of looking at things.
That's a way of saying it.
Because I mean, they've made choices where it's like I don't understand why you made this decision. We've talked about this at length before. The guy who currently runs Sony is also the guy who was in charge of Fox for a large section of the time that Bryan Singer was doing those original X-Men movies. So draw whatever conclusions you want to about that and his impact on those movies. But yeah, we don't know what Sony's going to do. I go back and forth between thinking there's going to be a point where we never see Spider-Man again, and there's going to be a point where Spider-Man is in everything, and I don't know which way it's going to go. Because it feels like they have plans for Spider-Man. The fact that they're doing an animated series that's going to air on Disney Plus that is a Spider-Man series, that doesn't feel like we're ready to just jump into the abyss right now.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think like that's part of the complicated rights issues with Spider-Man 2 is that I think Marvel still has the rights to like the toys and the animation, so they don't have to have. Yeah, they can continue doing whatever they want with Spider-Man in the animated world, but God, that sounds
or even just because it's television. Like this is a good point. Like I hadn't thought about that like that, but like Marvel has done mini Spider-Man shows that had no Sony interaction many times. I hadn't even thought about that, but like we don't know if Tom Holland is the Spider-Man in that show. But again, like with what you were just saying, it doesn't matter because they can hire Tom Holland regardless of whether or not Sony has anything to do with it.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he did do something like that out of spite, because it would be much less work for him to just do voice work. Yeah. I don't know. Do we want to wrap, guys? We've been going for
sure
a bit since we lost a hunter because he's a sleepy boy.
We're man down.
Into his head.
Yeah, I was gonna say the blood was having a hard time getting up there. So let's get out of here.
I've got nothing to plug right now, so there's that.
Fair enough.
I'll do mine. So Eric can do Hunters.
Yes.
We are hard at work getting through those Bond movies on the LHP. We're in it. We're in the Brosnans. We're halfway through. So the light is at the end of the tunnel.
It's like a mountain range. We're in the Brosnans.
We're in the Brosnans. We're already halfway through, and we're almost out of it. We're almost done. So go listen to those Bonds. Listen to the older ones. Listen to the ones that are coming up. Be prepared for Lou returning to talk about a man turning from Korean into white. That'll be a fun time. That'll be a fun episode about a fucking bonkers movie. And other than that, I got nothing else. So yeah.
All right. I'm Hunter Davenport. Don't follow me anywhere. I have a fun video game show called Comic Club. Also, if you want to send me all of your Yes Party and furry pictures and even furry versions of Marvel characters, send them to young_Kame. Also, I'm really Eric Fedorchak. You can find me at Eric_Fedor. I'm on Instagram under that handle. There's pictures of dogs and food and cats and comics, Phantom Zone stuff, just whatever. Friend me on Facebook if you want to see my continued disappointment in the United States judicial system and just the United States in general. And also understand that the precedent they set today is that if you're white and you want to go to a protest with a gun and shoot people, you can get away with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Our country's a fucking dumpster fire. I wish my wife loved me as much as that judge loved Kyle Rittenhouse.
Big fan of this kid I am.
Fuck.
Stop yelling at the boy.
He loved that boy. I wish I could say that old men didn't love boys that much, but they do.
It's been a pleasure working with you, young man. And that's it for me. Fuck.
I had a thing that I was gonna say that was really clever, but I forgot it. So bye.
Bye, everybody. Also realize that this sets the precedent that if you are not for Trump, you are an acceptable casualty.
Going out on a high note.
Yep.
Damn.